What's up, guys? You are listening to Momentum Monday podcast. My name is Steve Holbrook, and I'm going to be your host. Hey, if this is your first time listening, welcome to our podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome to YouTube. Welcome to our channel on YouTube. For those of you that haven't heard my story, you know what? If you want to take a minute after this video or this podcast and you want to go check me out at sholbrook.com. I'm not going to talk about my story today. It's on my blog. I'll do more podcasts about it. Today, what I want to talk about is I want to share with you 5 reasons that you must embrace social media in business. 5 reasons you must embrace social media in business. Now, in my opinion, it's not an option. It's an absolute must. It's an absolute must. And my outcome for the next 15 minutes is to explain, in my opinion, why I feel this way about it and why so many other influencers and so many of my friends in that space believe in the future of social media. So depending on what kind of business you're in, there's obviously different kinds of platforms. You could be on Facebook, that could be working for you. You could be on YouTube, which is blowing up. YouTube TV just started, or of course you could be on Instagram. So for myself, in my business, the environment that I'm trying to build, just the culture that I'm trying to build with my page, Instagram is my jam. Instagram is where you can find me. You can go to @HolbrooksWorld. If you didn't find me through Instagram today, you can find me at Instagram. So here we go. 5 reasons that you must embrace social media in business today. You guys ready? All right, grab your pen. Here we go. In my opinion, number 1, it's like buying real estate in the 60s. If you could go back to the 60s and you can buy as much real estate as you wanted to, how much would you buy? As much as you could, right? Well, listen to me for a second. The TV is becoming the radio, and the TV is becoming the radio, and the smartphone is now becoming the television. There's a stat I read online the other day. American adults are spending upwards of 4 hours a day on their smartphone. I remember it was 10 years ago, and it might still be true today. I was reading adults were spending 4, 5, 6 hours a day on television. Now they're spending 4 hours a day on their smartphone. And you know the majority of that time? Do you know where that majority of that time is spent? You got it. On social media. So listen, if you could have a little piece, a little plot of land on everybody's smartphone, right? We'll call that real estate on someone's smartphone that they're looking at every single day for virtually no cost. How much for that would you want? All of it, right? That's why it's important to get on it right now. I think you're going to thank yourself 5 years from now from being on it. Number 2, listen to me for a second. Without a strong social media presence in the next 3 to 5 years, you're not going to be in business. You're not going to be in business. People are checking you out on Facebook and Instagram all the time. If you don't think that people that you come in contact with, if you don't think your customers, if you don't think the referrals that you're getting from people aren't checking you out on social media before they come meet with you, you are totally kidding yourself. I haven't hired anybody in my company in the last 5 years that I haven't combed through their social media presence first. I go to people's Facebook page, I go to their Instagram page, even before I go to their company website. You'd probably agree with that. Right? You want to check out a company, you go right to their Instagram page, right to their Facebook page. You want to get a feel for their community. You know, I equate it to this. I grew up in the 90s. And in the 90s, if you weren't in the yellow pages, you weren't a legit business. If you were not in the yellow pages, you were not a legit business. Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't have a social media presence in 3 to 5 years, you are not going to be a legitimate business. All of your competitors are getting on it. All of your competitors are getting on it. And if all you're marketing to is the 50, 60 customers that come into your store or that check your online presence out, and then, you know, if you're door knocking, cold calling, paying for advertising on television, if that's all that you're doing, you're totally missing out because you got your people that you're competing with right now in your space, and they're getting on it. And if you can only address those 50, 60 people and they're online and they're addressing 2, 3, 400,000 people on a weekly basis with their message, I don't even care if their product's worse. You could get beat by somebody that has an inferior opportunity and an inferior product. You could get beat by someone that doesn't work as hard as you. But because they embrace social media, they're going to be in business in 3 to 5 years, and you may not be. My third reason, my third point, it allows your audience and your customers to get to know you. Think about this. People don't really care about how much you know. They care a lot about who you are. They care a lot about who you are. If 2 companies can offer me the same product I'll always buy from the company who I feel the most connected to. Always the case. And how do you feel connected to a company? You follow them on social media. It's like having a window into their world. It's like having a window into your world. I used to sit down with people and sometimes they would ask me these questions and I think to myself, man, if they just could see what I see, if they just knew that we were good people, we had good product, this is a great business opportunity. They knew who I was, man. Man, I'm a dedicated father. I work hard. I get up early. I go to the gym. I make sacrifices. If they just knew that about me, I feel like they would be more inclined to buy or to join. Guess what? Now that window is possible. Now that window is possible. And the same reason that you only follow people on social media that add value to your life, the same reason that's true, you got to show people how you treat people online, what you stand for, what your culture is, what your beliefs are. And you create this community that people want to be a part of. And they decide that you are going to add value to their life, so they're going to follow you, right? Look, if you're a good company or you got a good team and you have an amazing culture, you can take that online. And when you have an online presence that speaks to who you are, the good things, the great culture, that can exponentially magnify your team. But if you're a bad company or you do bad things for people or you're not a good person, those are the kinds of people that aren't online. Those are the kinds of people that don't want their true culture and true values to show. And those are the companies, to be quite frank, that I just don't think will be in business in 3 to 5 years. Because it builds trust. It builds trust. I look at what Emily and Andy Frisell have done with First Form. Every time I get on social media, I see somebody repping First Form and they're talking about culture or core values, or I see Andy's podcast, or I see Emily's new project. She's blowing up on social media too. And you know what? Yes, Andy claims that it's the best protein powder in the world. And you know what? It might be. But I don't know that. I don't know that it is. But you know what? You know what I do know? They have one of the best company cultures in the world. And people buy First Form because it makes them feel good to be a part of that culture. And their strong social media presence allows that window to open every single day when you get on there and you start seeing the goodness of this company. And that's why people buy from them. And that's why people will buy from you. Number 4, there's no rules. There's no rules. You can bring to the table what your strengths are while you're working on your weaknesses. Okay, social media is your highlight reel. You're not going to get on there and post 25 things a day about how crappy your life is and how much you don't like your girlfriend or how broke you are or how many people quit on you today. There's going to be a time and place to be vulnerable. Look, you create your world online. You create it. And I'm not talking about not being authentic. I'm not talking about not being somebody you're not. I'm just talking about focusing on your strengths and letting that shine through your online presence. So let me give you an example. If you're really good at doing videos, then do videos online. Do videos. But if you're not good at doing videos, but you're really good at doing captions or blog posts through Facebook or Instagram, focus on that. But behind the scenes, when the camera's off and nobody's watching, start working on the things you need to get better at. Don't blast out videos if that's not your strength. Right? Do a bunch of blog posts and when no one's watching, practice making videos. Practice so that you can start to get good at those things. It's super important. And then it's still important to be vulnerable. Occasionally and strategically, when you have a message or you had a bad day or you had something that you want to share with your group online, be vulnerable. Open up. But be strategically vulnerable. Don't get online every day and just start complaining about things that aren't working. Nobody wants to follow that. That's not a good experience for people. And number 5, my last point, it's 24/7 marketing. People may not even know that they need you until they find you. And then they realize that they need you. They need your services or your mentorship or your positive attitude, your personality is all accessible now 24 hours a day, 7 days a week online. It's like having a fishing line in the water all the time. All the time. The traditional salespeople, they get up every day, they make 20 minutes of phone calls. They might call 20, 30, 40 people, right? If you're in a business, you have to reach out to people. That's just what you do. But there's 1,440 minutes in a day. And if you're only able to reach out to people 20, 30, 40 minutes a day, What are you doing with the other 1,420 minutes? I'll tell you what you're not doing. You're not marketing yourself. But if you have an online presence, it's available 24/7. Think about it. Isn't it the worst when you call a friend and you know they hit the ignore button? You know what's worse than that? Is when they hit the ignore button and like 2 seconds later, they either make a social media post or they comment on a post that you were tagged in so that you know they're online. But there's something to be said about that. People go on social media when they're ready to go on social media. If you're putting an advertisement on TV and somebody's not sitting down and watching that program, they miss the ad. But if you have a social media presence, when somebody decides to go on Instagram or Facebook, they're going to see your post when they're ready. So you're always going to hit them. Now there's some engagement things, typically only 10% of your followers actually see your post, but there's ways around that and you can boost that. But in general, when somebody goes online, they see your stuff. It's like having a fishing line in the water 24/7. Guys, there's so many mornings I wake up and 12, sometimes 15 people have reached out to me while I was sleeping. Hey Steve, I want to learn more about your products and services. Hey Steve, I want to learn more about your business. While I was sleeping. It's 24/7 marketing. Man, I'm giving away all the nuggets right now. I know that there's tons of people, friends, colleagues that are watching this. There's competitors that are watching this. I hope you guys are getting value. There's more than enough in this world to go around. And everybody does deserve to be successful. So we got to make sure that we get this message out there. And I want to end on this. The tugboat versus the lighthouse. I want to hear me when I say this. The tugboat versus the lighthouse. Every day, the tugboat wakes up in the morning, fills his or her little tank of gas, tugs out to sea, and the tugboat's job is to find boats that are broken down, hook up, and drag them all back into shore, and then go back out and do it again and drag them all back into shore every single day. The lighthouse, on the other hand, wakes up every morning and just focuses on shining so bright that it actually draws the boats to it. I decided 2 years ago that I was going to start to be the lighthouse in people's lives. That I was the one that wanted to add value. That I was the one that wanted to help people with their mindset and draw people to me. And that's what this blog is about. That's what this podcast is about. That's what this community is about that I've been creating here for the last 18 months to 2 years. So please, if you got value out of today, go to iTunes, rate the podcast, review it. Give me some love. Share it if you would. And if you didn't find me through Instagram, again, go online, follow me on social media, Instagram. I got a YouTube channel that you can see all these videos, these podcasts on also. And I also have an amazing website that's getting a ton of traction at sholbrook.com. So I really appreciate you guys. I hope you guys got some value out of today, and we will see you soon.